Rural Heritage on RFD TV is brought to you by Rural Heritage Magazine, a bi-monthly magazine featuring articles about farming and logging with draft animal power, small-scale diversified family farming and homesteading, and other aspects of our rich rural heritage. Rural Heritage Magazine, borrowing from yesterday to do the work of today. For subscription information, please call 319-362-3027 or order online at www.ruralheritage.com. Hi, I'm Joe Mischka. Welcome to another episode of Rural Heritage TV.
There are guys around who've been plowing all their lives and who have learned to use the walking plow from their dads and neighbors who used walking plows. I wasn't so fortunate. I didn't have a mentor, so I just had to kind of figure it out. And so the advantage in that is that it wasn't that many years ago I had to start from scratch and figure it out. So I hope I can be helpful to people who are trying to start from scratch and figure it out. From my angle, the most essential element of running the walking plow is a team that walks straight and steady. If you've got a furrow animal that'll walk the furrow, you've got a fighting chance to run the walking plow. And if they want to wiggle all over and stop and start and unsure what to do, you'll inevitably have to have your hands on the lines, not on the plow handle. And so a team that walks straight and steady is essential. For me, I found the easiest way to do that. I've got a little bracket on my forecart that will offset my tongue so that my furrow donkey walks right straight in front of the tire on my forecart. And I simply found a neighbor who was in the process of plowing, and I drove my team over there, and I drove Alice down into the furrow and started driving and just followed the furrow. And I didn't have to walk very many times around that field before Alice figured out, well, just walk down the furrow. And I went and I think did 2 practice sessions, but you could easily do 10, you know. And she learned to just walk the furrow. Well, then I had a chance. And then after a team that walks straight and steady, the next thing I would do if I was wanting to learn to plow is to find easy conditions. Find somebody with a small bean field that they're plowing or a big garden. It's hard to learn if you're only plowing 25 feet. By the time the plow gets down in the dirt, the donkey's ready to come out, you know. So find, if it's stumpy and rocky and sod, you're just going to do nothing but fight it. Find something that's been plowed before. Don't try to turn dirt uphill as a beginner. Just find a kind of a levelish spot. Even if it slopes down a little bit away from the plow, that makes it easier for you. Then when you've got a furrow for your furrow donkey to follow and fairly easy going, the next thing I would aim at is the evener, how you're going to hook them up to the plow. And what I have found, first of all, I looked in Maurice Talline's book, The Draft Horse Primer, and he'll tell you in there that a moldboard, a typical moldboard plow, the point of draft is 1/4 of the cut from the land side, okay? The land side is the flat side that goes against the dirt. The moldboard is what turns the dirt over. With donkeys the size of mine, I find the most practical width to plow is a 10-inch cut, approximately. When animals are walking like this, you know, down the row, sometimes they're in step going like this, sometimes they're not in step going like this. It's not going to stay exactly 10 inches, but I'm aiming at 10 inches, okay? So if, I hope I get this right now. If your cut is going to be 10 inches wide and your land side is right here, then the furrow that your furrow donkey is walking in is 10 inches right here. That's 10, that's 10, okay? From the land side over toward the furrow, you go 1/4 of the cut. That's 2.5 inches is 1/4 of 10, okay? So you're gonna go to right here is the center of draft on that mold board. Okay, so from the center of draft to the edge of the cut is 7.5 inches. And from the far side of the cut, near side of the furrow, to the center of that furrow where you want your donkey to walk is another 5 inches, half of a 10-inch furrow, okay? 7.5 plus 5 is 12.5 inches, okay? And so if the center is here and this donkey is walking 12.5 inches over here, then with your double tree, the other donkey needs to walk 12.5 inches over here. And so the total width of an evener for a 10-inch cut is 25 inches or 2.5 times the cut. Okay? Now, that is not the right dimension. It's simply what you're aiming at. Okay? Because some donkeys are going to want to pull apart a little. Some are going to want to crowd each other a little bit, you know. None of this is just an exact measurement. But I've plowed a number of places, and I never went anywhere that a 25.5-inch evener wouldn't line me up reasonably well for a 10-inch cut. And it's going to stay the same if you have a wider plow. You don't want to go much narrower. You won't be able to, it'll be so squirrely, you'll have a hard time with it. Okay. So if you've got your team now walking a straight line and you know how wide your evener needs to be, then what you're going to be trying to do, if you look at your walking plow on the land side, that's the flat side that goes against the dirt, from the point to the back, it's going to be curved just a little bit like this. And if you turn your plow upside down and look from the point to the back end, it's going to be curved just a little bit like this. Both of those curves will direct the point of your plow a little down and to the left. All right. That pointing down and to the left is what's going to draw your plow down into the furrow. And it's going to want to then pull off this direction. So what you need to do then is attach the center of your double tree on the adjustment at the front of the beam, left and right, enough so that the pull to the left of the point and the pull to the right from the evener balances out and the plow goes straight forward. That's what you're trying to do. If the plow wants to veer off to the left, you're going to have to move your evener left, you see. If it wants to veer off to the right, you're going to have to move your evener right, and that'll pull it back in. You got to find kind of the right spot. Now, you don't have to have the perfect spot because you have some control steering the plow.
Practice, you'll find you tend to, well, this has got the wheel set
Yeah.
pretty low right now, but once that depth gauge is up, then a little lift on the handles also causes the point to dive down. Not that
Yes.
you're trying to.
No, I understand.
Oh,
Just go
yeah,
like that.
understood. It's a
Yep.
combination of those things, just
Yep.
whatever makes it bite.
Yeah, that's clean enough to plow.
Nature, and I don't.
But let's clean up the other one, then we'll take them both over there
Very good.
and start. Okay, let's lift this up and lay it on it. Just a second, we'll set this aside. Here you go. And we'll just set this up on there so that I got this end.
I got it.
Okay, maybe that's good enough right there. Will it stay? Yeah. Great, thank you. Sandpaper is going this way from the flat over the edge, not the other way around. If you go into the edge, it'll blow up. Ideally, we would like to have this plow mirror shiny all over. You're going to have to get her in the dirt for hours to get there, maybe days. This was 100 years old and pitted before I got it, and so I can't get the rust out of the pits. But it's clean enough that it will plow, and clean enough that you can keep plowing until it scours up. So this is an Oliver 102 SC mold board. It was made for a 2-bottom riding plow, and I found it in the neighbor's junk pile. And I thought that if being a long, slow, sweeping turn, it might be a little easier to pull. And I don't know how to test that to know whether it's true. But I got started with it and I liked it, so I just kept using it. And you can see, I'm just going to set this. You can see that the rolling coulter is about 5/8 inch offset from the land side. And you can see the curve from the point down to the middle and up to the end, and from the point up to the middle and down to the end. So it's curved both down and to the left, and that's what sucks the plow in. Okay. These are my offset handles so I can get good footing on level ground. Not knowing what else to do, I'm going to leave the depth set right where it is, and I'm going to leave a hitch just off center right where it is. And if you look down here, you'll see that the beam runs out about 2.5 inches on the furrow side of the land side. You see what I'm saying? Can you see that, Rick?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. You see how the beam is just offset from the land side. And that allows, it's like the evener. It's not the perfect setting, and there isn't a perfect setting, but it allows you to get your evener right straight in front of the point of draft. And this is my 25-inch evener that we figured out up in the classroom. And it may not be perfect, but it will allow me to get straight in front of a 10-inch cut. And I've got a buddy who gets those out of a mountain climbing catalog. And I helped him get started plowing, and he gave me one of those. So it's all set up and ready to go. We will probably have to adjust line length and depth and everything, you know, to get it to work. Now I'm going to estimate, whoa, that right where am I? I got to have both lines in this hand.
Oh, all right.
There you go. I'm going to estimate that okay. Oh, no. I'm going to estimate that right about here will get me started. I don't know how to tie a plowman's knot. If somebody figured that out sometime, I would love to get an email or an address or a website or whatever and learn to. I don't know that, and I know there's such a thing. But I'm going to start with this. And we'll give everybody a chance if we can get it started. Okay, girls, get up. Yeah, I tell you what, if we get this going, they'll walk a little bit faster than you care to follow. Yeah, they'll wear me out pretty quick. Okay, now, getting this in the dirt is going to happen quickly. So you'll need to watch to see how I go like that to get it in and then straighten it up. Bernice, get in there. Ho! Bernice. Bernice. Ho! Ho! That's a girl. Well, I'm going to start right there. Okay, girls, get up. So you've got your team walking straight, you've got your evener, a pretty good width for a 10-inch cut. And after just a dip or two in the dirt, you can see that you're going to be pulling it straight forward. They're too fast for me.
Very fast. Yeah, I'm worried. You know, I'm pretty sure that my wife stole it.
Force them to go straight at the end. They like to walk off to the side and turn. Oh! I always use a depth gauge on my plows. It's just a wheel in the front that you can adjust the height, and if you push the plow up, set the wheel down, it'll tilt up more and plow less deep. If you raise the wheel, the beam will come down and it'll deepen within reason. If you've got hard ground and not a very heavy plow, you're going to have a hard time getting it down in there. Tractor farmers can just put 10,000s of pounds of hydraulic pressure on and it goes down, you see, but horse farmers are depending on gravity. So, so a little lean left will steer the plow right up there. You see, not here, up there. A little to the right, we'll steer it left up there. A little bit left, it'll suck in. Flop it to the right, it'll pop right out, okay? The disadvantage of plowing with donkeys is that we can't handle a big plow. If you have a neighbor who plows with horses, find one that's got a big old pair of draft mares that know how to do it, and a 16-inch John Deere walking plow. And all you'll have to do is stand there and put your fingers like this and that plow will just go. Because it's so big and stable that every little piece of gravel or every little root doesn't bounce the plow. The plow will just cut through all of that. With these small, you know, these plows are gonna measure like 7.5 or 8 inches of steel across the share, plus the 2 inches to make a 10-inch cut.
There you go. You're in. Now lean a little right, lean a little right, lean right. There you go. There you got it. Okay, straighten up. Whoop.
This program is available for purchase. To order your copy, please call 319-362-3027 or visit www.ruralheritage.com. Rural Heritage is a bi-monthly magazine dedicated to draft animal farming and logging, as well as other aspects of our rich rural heritage. It is published by Mich Press, which also offers a complete line of back-to-the-land books, DVDs, and calendars. Call or write for a catalog or subscription information, or visit our website at www.ruralheritage.com.